Hello there, Site-42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site-42 of the SCP Foundation. And as we have done for the last 11 months and counting, because the daily stream streak must remain strong, I am here to open my office door to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next hour to discuss the general Q&A. But before we do that, let me start with a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, Lucas the Intern, congratulations on being the #1 most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment team, i.e., congratulations on being first chatter. Meanwhile, Legendary Doge, Froy, Researcher Last, Woscom, Silent Follower, everyone who I have just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being members here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service here on YouTube. And Dr. Singer, Charger, DJ, Hazelduck, and Chadlab, welcome to today's stream. Thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here just for being you today. Now, today's stream is sponsored, and it is sponsored by us here at Site-42 of the SCP Foundation. If you head to our Site-42 support beacon, that is beacons.ai/Site-42, then you can find a link to the scpstore.org, where you can get your own Foundation Fitness Initiative t-shirt, the Reservoir Docs t-shirt, Site-42 stickers, and various other Site-42 related and SCP Foundation related merchandise. So thank you to the scpstore.org for being our SCP Creator Community merch shop, and thank you, Site-42 staff, for supporting the channel by purchasing said merch. Now, before I go into the stream subject, let me quickly say, Jorge Colon, congratulations on sending 50 lucky clovers to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am certain that they will keep a rather extreme amount of luck in their pocket thanks to your generous gift of 4-leaf clovers. It is important that we watch out for probabilistic anomalies here at the Foundation, a very wise thing. Silent Follower, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a Chicka Cherry Cola on your way past the commissary. Hello, missed you. How is Sherman? I am doing all right. It's a tired day, and I have a lot to do, which is why the stream is short. Matthew Berth and Clayton, thank you both for sending more lucky clovers. Wow. The Containment Hazard Assessment team is certainly going to be very lucky today. Intern Neverwhere, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. I would say grab yourself a Choco Taco on your way past the commissary, but it seems you can't do that because you are stuck inside a closet again. It seems you are anomalous not only in being an anthropomorphic human furry thing, but also you are anomalously good at being trapped in the closet. Good work. I would assume once you get out, you can have that Choco Taco. Matthew Burr, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself a strawberry shortcake pop on your way past the commissary. Sir, I think I have realized SCP-035. What have you realized about SCP-035? I don't see... it seems like the end of your statement there. Did you stop typing because you fell under its trance and put it on? Are you currently dead? We need more info. I certainly hope you're all right. Intern Dana Cooley, thank you for sending another lucky clover. I guess the chat will be exceptionally lucky this day. Same to you, Dana Cooley again, and Clayton twice more. Lucky clovers, this chat is very thematically lucky today. And Liuna, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a footlong on your way past the commissary. Random thought, is Bluey from Bluey a viable anomaly? Any game she plays with her sister, anyone nearby has to play along. Bluey, huh? You see, because they are living, talking animals, that in and of itself would be anomalous if it were in our universe. Now, for their universe, that might not be considered anomalous. That might be the norm over there. But if they showed up to our universe, that is where we are going to have problems with them. So where they are right now, fine. Leave them there. Then we don't have to worry about it. Bro, what is the war with the Dolphins and SCP? I'm new. Well, good pancake. Thank you for generously setting up our stream subject for the day. During the stream subject, I will wait to answer donations and questions until we are done with the stream subject. So, what are we here for today, staff? What is our briefing about? Are you familiar with the phenomenon known as Gerald the Dolphin? Yeses? Nos? Well, for those of you unaware, Gerald the Dolphin is a current viral news story. You see, there was a Florida man, as there tends to be, and the Florida man was discovered on the beach claiming to have been underwater for 3 days, making an underwater city for dolphins. Gerald the Dolphin, the foreman of the project, apparently kept our Florida man able to breathe underwater somehow. The Florida man didn't ask, because you don't ask Gerald things. You just have to go with it. Gerald can be quite easily perturbed, I guess. But if you scroll through, then you hear the story about how this person just happens to be an engineer, and therefore the perfect person to build them an underwater city off the coast of Fort Myers Beach. Now, first of all, I see it in the chat. No, we're not talking about Dr. Gerald. That motor vehicular menace, while being named Gerald, is not the Gerald of the subject. Gerald the Dolphin is a different Gerald. Many people can have the same name. It is the world we live in. Second of all, as you might have noticed on this document as I scrolled by, Snopes.com has determined that this is a satire article run amok. that the Gerald the Dolphin situation is fake. And if you scroll down, they show you the sources where they found the satirical news site that posted it. So even though it's very fun that Gerald the Dolphin kidnapped this person for 3 days to build an underwater city, it's completely not true. Or at least, that's what we at the SCP Foundation would prefer the public to think. You see, obviously, we cannot let the general public know that there are underwater cities outside of their coastlines, that there are civilizations of dolphins running amok that they are only protected from by us. So yes, we planted a few news stories to keep the disinformation campaign going. We used artificial intelligence constructs from the Artificial Intelligence Applications Department to work in tandem with Foundation web crawlers. We still need to capture Spider-Man, by the way. Keep that on the to-do list. But the web crawlers have planted stories to make it seem fake because the SCP Foundation is currently at war with the Dolphins. Canonically. I'm not joking. If you go in your SkipNet database to SCP-3932, you will see an SCP document codename The Dolphin Manifesto. The Dolphin Manifesto anomaly is a particular vocalization that dolphins can produce that increases the intelligence of dolphins that hear it. It increases their intelligence, and it gives the dolphins telekinetic abilities, allowing for the physical manipulation of objects despite lacking hands. And so these telekinetic, super intelligent dolphins run around infecting other dolphins, trying to create a society of super intelligent telekinetic dolphins. Now, there are currently 3 civilizations of the dolphins. They are known as the Great Barrier Reef Confederacy, the Great Barrier Reef Empire in Exile, and the Dolphins Poseidist Republic of Indonesia. These civilizations, holding approximately around 30,000 dolphins each, are currently held in containment by the Foundation by keeping people out of their territories. But they are mad at us for not allowing them to spread to other dolphins. And so all 3 of the kingdoms of the dolphins declared war against the SCP Foundation. Suffice it to say, it is not easy to be at war with approximately 90,000 super intelligent, telekinetic dolphins. But we have had a break in this case. You see, this SCP document seemingly has a sequel. And that sequel, SCP-5953, codename Critique of the Marine Mammal Program, is a specialized dolphin upgrading proposal that can be performed, that was performed, so to say, at the assistance of the United States Navy and their anomalous faction of, I believe it's the Pentagon, Pentagram. These upgraded dolphins. The description: 5953 is a group of 30 common bottlenose dolphins that were anomalously augmented by the United States Navy Marine Mammal Program from 1964 to 1987 at the direction and assistance of Pentagram. 5953 was intended to train a new class of soldier capable of performing tasks underwater, such as ship protection, mine clearance, and reconnaissance. Key modifications made to SCP-5953 include tethering consciousness of dolphins to pre-existing, disembodied thought-form entities residing in the human noosphere, causing the fusion of both minds. Resulting combination minds had human-level intelligence. Implanting of synthetic voice box allowing for synthesized human speech. Integrating various forms of electronic detection systems into the brain, allowing them to be used as traditional senses. Include sonar, radio, and cant counters. They can track Hume's people. Genetically modifying with DNA sourced from the Scarlet King, with slight adaptations for compatibility with dolphin physiology rather than whale. Increased vitality, lifespan, and physical size of specimens. Now, that one needs a little bit of explanation. No, I'm not going to explain how we got access to the Scarlet King's DNA. That's classified. But there's an old site-wide joke that there's nothing saying that the victims of SCP-231, the Procedure 110 Montauk, the women who were impregnated with the danger babies by the Church of the Scarlet King cult. The joke was, nowhere in that document says that they are human women. And in fact, many people back in the day would joke that SCP-231-7 was in fact not a human woman being tortured by the Foundation, but that we were torturing a whale. Hence, the whale DNA situation that we had to make augments to deal with compatibility with dolphin physiology. So, I hope that explains everything crystal clear. I know it does. You guys are very smart. Moving on. So, the Navy also educated these dolphin soldiers in magical principles of various scale. Each SCP-5953 was educated by a former ICSUT professor and given a degree equivalent from the institution. These are Dolphin Hacker Wizards. Now, the Navy became aware of the existence of SCP-3932, the Kingdoms of Super Intelligent Telekinetic Dolphins, in an armed conflict between the Dolphins Poseidus Republic of Indonesia and the Great Barrier Reef Empire in Exile. So when those two got in a fight, the US Navy found out they existed, unfortunately. Seeing as they decided that the Indonesian branch of the Dolphin Kingdoms was communist, the United States military immediately got to work finding a way to murder them, as they are prone to do. Thankfully, an iteration of SCP-5953 Dolphin soldiers from the military were sent to infiltrate the Dolphin Kingdoms. Eventually, they reached a détente where the Dolphins decided to stop fighting us at the Foundation so that we would protect them from the US military. Wait, no, I'm reading that wrong. Your first one's willing to talk to us. You're not busy. Step down from former position. It's not a question of if but when. I don't age, and I'm smarter than any of them. Something is going to go wrong one of these days, and they'll need me to fix it. Might take years, but it'll happen. Immortals don't really retire. So yes, don't forget, the Dolphin soldiers from the US military are immortal. They took the Scarlet King's DNA and just spliced it into the rest of me. An actual goddamn demon. So yes, this Dolphin Wizard Robot, Scarlet King Demon Immortal God thing, has stopped the Dolphin Wars to try and get the Foundation to help protect them from the US military. This is what I discovered when I did a cursory search for, Gerald the Dolphin is a viral news story of the day. I wonder what the SCP Foundation has to do with dolphins. I'm sure there must be a dolphin SCP, right? Well, not only are we at war with multiple groups of interest, but also we're at war with dolphins, at least until that détente is signed. And we're also at war with the Girl Scouts. So there's that. But yes, long story short and ending the stream subject, guess what? We will not be letting people believe in the underwater cities. We will tell everyone it was just a hoax. That way, they don't find out what's actually going on with the dolphins. Secure, contain, protect. You know the drill. All right. Now that I have completed the stream subject, we have about 40 minutes of general Q&A. Let me get these donations here. Clayton, thank you for sending another lucky clover. The chat feels very lucky today, I'm sure. Matthew Burr, thank you for donating again to say, sir, I think I accidentally put 035 on 096. Well, go take it off. It's your job. You messed it up, you clean it up. And then we'll clean you up when you know. 369 Destroyer, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a stack of flapjacks on your way past the commissary. Can we ask the Shark Punching Center if we can purchase their shark punching equipment? I'm willing to bet it would be effective here. You know, while the Shark Punching Center does not care because dolphins are not sharks, it might be useful to collaborate with them in the technology sense. You might have something there. I'll pass it up the wire and we'll see what they talk about. SCP-173 versus SCP-049. So the Plague Doctor has eyes and can blink, so could get snapped. But 173 is a statue and therefore not alive, so 049's lethal touch doesn't affect 173. 049's, I guess if 049 had enough zombies, it could possibly overpower the statue, but I doubt it. I think 049 is a boom. Can I apply? Any chance to punch a dolphin is a good one. Well, yes, intern feeder, if you would like to join the war against the dolphins on the side of the Foundation, I'm sure the appropriate mobile task forces would be willing to get some more recruits. Dr. Sherman, do you like the ship Clefdraki? Intern Booterflies. I have no opinions on the dating status of Doctors Clef and Gandraki. I am happy for them if they are happy, I guess. Yo, bro, remember the floating hand spider? I do, intern McLaren, and the floating hand spider is in the super cool petting zoo. You can visit it at your leisure. Hello, I was sent here to ask if the Doomslayer can be contained by the SCP Foundation. Intern Alexander, you do remember that the Doomslayer does come with its own containment apparatus, right? There is literally a sarcophagus for the Doomslayer. You just put the Doomslayer in the sarcophagus. It is good and well contained, unless someone opens it. Easy peasy. Is Master Chief an SCP? Well, intern Geets. Master Chief, due to the anomalous technology used in upgrading its abilities in biology, it is anomalous by the standards of what we have at the SCP Foundation. If it existed in our universe, Master Chief would be anomalous. But because well, I don't actually know if Master Chief is not on the SCP database. Someone might have mentioned Master Chief at some point. I can't say that without actually checking first. Of course, I'm going to get Master Chief as a ranking, like Chief Master Sergeant here. I'm not seeing a Master Chief as in Halo on first search, but that is a problem of having 290 pages to cycle through. So perhaps Master Chief is hidden somewhere on the SCP database. Oh, wait a minute. Did I... No, that does not look like it's... That is not Master Chief. Okay. It seems that Master Chief is not on the SCP database. And therefore, it does not have an SCP document. Therefore, it is not an SCP. Make sure you don't accidentally type Master Chef. I did not accidentally type Master Chef. Duly noted. Let me buy SCP-914. Intern Grizz. Do we look like Marshall Carter in dark? No. You may not purchase an anomaly. Get out of here with that. Oh, I saw a notification for Ko-Fi. Let me check that real quick. Lonnie the Demon Angel, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, and thank you for making the effort to go through the Ko-Fi, as the Ko-Fi only takes 3% of your donation for service fees, while YouTube Super Chat takes 30% of your donation. We greatly appreciate those who go through the effort to go to the Ko-Fi. Grab yourself a Surge on your way past the commissary. I slept through the past few streams, including the Fan Art Friday stream. I just have to say, me almost getting hit by Dr. Gerald, aka SCP-666-J, is now officially part of the Lanny Personia canon. Also, glad you enjoyed the art, though, Lamau. Well, your headcanon is your headcanon. That's the beautiful thing about the SCP Foundation. So yes, enjoy your inner canon to the best of your ability. There we go. Dr. Sherman 096 wears SCP-035 in the tail Nil Engines. It became one of the bros. I think I saw them subscribe shortly after. Also, 173 is a species of interest on that curated list. Interesting. Desk is informing me this is kind of a off-the-wall comedy tale, so to speak. It does look like it got a bit silly with it in this universe. Love a good Elseworld canon with a little bit of that LOL Foundation flavor. But I don't think, just like I'm not going to treat all joke SCPs as purely canon, I don't think this one's going to take place that way if we did it in our universe. Amber, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Thank you for making the effort to go through the Ko-Fi. Grab yourself a MLT, a nice MLT, where the mutton is nice and lean. On your way past the commissary. Containment breach. Work really fell apart while I was on vacation. The ceiling tiles over the cube next to mine collapsed. Water and heavy snow made the roof leak. Didn't get a report on what escaped. Changed the day since last breach, signed back to 0. Well, that makes sense. Also, sad to say, it sounds like you might be coming down with a little bit of Dr. Sumerian syndrome. I would get that checked out because Dr. Sumerian happened to be staying up too late at night, I believe it was. And if he had gone to bed on time, the tree that collapsed his roof would have landed on him. So, lucky you for not getting caught. We're glad to see you're okay. T. Rose, thank you for donating for the first time in today's stream, and thank you for making the effort to go through the Ko-Fi. Grab yourself a beefed jerky on your way past the commissary. I regret to inform you that someone seems to have broken into your private quarters and stolen your Hawaiian shirt collection and half of every pair of socks. It definitely wasn't me. The amount of laser beams that would have harmed someone who did that makes this very unlikely. Perhaps someone broke into Clef's closet and stole Clef's Hawaiian shirt collection. His traps are far more rudimentary, but also much more destructive. You don't need to aim if the explosion radius is big enough. That's Clef's raison d'etre, so to speak. Random Guy, thank you for sending 11 lucky clovers to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I do believe that their continued good luck will be in part because of your generosity. Also, in the midst of that, Alonzo, thank you for sending another lucky clover. 369 Destroyer, thank you for donating again to say. RLE update. The Mach 2 model was made and looked promising, but upon activation, the resulting lack rooms also pulled in the trash room where the first model was placed, and all the rooms in between. Was there any interaction between the dead liminator and the active liminator? Or was it just pulled in? Or was it the interaction that it was pulled in because it was nearby, even though it wasn't active? Interesting. I want to see your notes for this later. Matthew Burr, thank you for sending a lucky clover and a thumbs up. I am sure the positivity and good luck will help the Containment Hazard Assessment team. Furthermore, Alonzo, thank you for sending a 6-7 to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure Desk had a mild conniption, much to their entertainment. Random Guy, thank you for sending a 100 to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. 096 and 035 are also the first project is Europea Keter Duty collab log. Honestly, one of the least believable given 035 isn't indestructible. Interesting. Obviously, people were going to be thinking of those two entities from a pataphysical narrative level above us, as a two great tastes that taste great together, even if to us on our level, it would be rather apocalyptic. So you know how Dr. Gerald can't drive? Well, I animated him recently and a car is involved. You'll see it on Fan Art Friday. That's worrying. I'm surprised Dr. Gerald's driving isn't so bad that it crashed your computer already. And, Dr. Frogman, there's your dad joke. You're welcome. Here, with 25 minutes left in the stream, let's take a moment to shout out friends of the channel, SCP Gallionic, otherwise known as SCP the Anime. Another $2,000 and so up from where they were on yesterday. SCP the Anime's Kickstarter is fulfilled, but there are still some stretch goals we could reach. So with 10 days on the clock, make sure you are sharing and make sure you are funding if you are available. Let us take just a moment to bask in the glory of the trailer.
So, your choice. What will it be? To what little I have.
Gooseman, for you asking, is Dr. Sherman going to be in the anime? Nothing has been spoken about formerly, but if SOM Studios wanted me to make a cameo appearance, either in animation, voice, or both, I, of course, would be happy to contribute to an excellent SCP Foundation project. And a reminder, after our interview last week with one of the directors of SOM Studios, they gifted me a delightful Dr. Sherman in the artistic style of SOM Studios, which I think is quite neato frito. So, you know, all they have to do is put that in the show somewhere. They're done already. Aoki, thank you for sending a lucky clover to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure that added luck will be necessary in their goals for the day. Dr. Sherman, why do most reality benders become evil? Could some become good? Intern Thanos, who says that most reality benders become evil? That's a bit of an assumption. What I would say is that it doesn't matter to us, the Foundation, if they are good or evil or whatever. If they're anomalous, they go in the box. And if they are reality benders, they get the business end of Clef's weaponry. At least, most of the time, that's standard behavior. You could also be looking at the fact that absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so anyone with the power to bend reality, you might imagine, they have a somewhat detached attraction to humankind as they see them as less than. And so that could cause them to not sympathize with them and be willing to do bad things to them, a la your Flowey and Undertale syndromes. I thought it said 95% of them become the child god. Intern Thanos, now I don't know what you're talking about. Can you specify a little bit what you mean by that? Desk is informing me what you mean, regarding, okay, I haven't seen this, classification of reality benders document in a very long time, I guess. Pulling it up on the database. That page doesn't mention the term child god. Desk is telling me it's part of SCP-4231, I see. Frog in a boiling pot. Okay. I have found the part that you guys are talking about. Desk found it at the same time. So, let me give this a read as we talk about reality benders, at least from the perspective of the SCP-4231 document. The frog in a boiling pot principle. 99% of type greens undergo the following sequence of psychological changes as their powers progress. Phase 1, denial. The subject refuses to acknowledge their ability to warp reality. The type green will attempt to rationalize away their abilities by various means. In some cases, the type green will end here. Their ability will be self-suppressed and they will not proceed. However, most then proceed to Phase 2, experimentation. The subject acknowledges their abilities and begins to test the limits of their powers. In general, type greens tend to experiment in one or two patterns, slowly, methodically, and carefully, advancing a small amount at a time, or in a small number of sudden jumps. In any case, the subject will generally remain in this mode for some time before proceeding to Phase 3, stability. The subject reaches the limit of their powers and determines the boundaries of their abilities. The type green achieves control over their reality shifts and can manipulate them as necessary. More importantly, they can choose not to utilize their abilities if needed. Phase 3 is usually characterized by attempts to live a, quote, normal life. The subject will continue in normal routines, and aside from necessary precautions to prevent losing control, will utilize their abilities only in private, and only in a manner that will not harm others. These type greens may be classified as threat level 1, monitor, do not engage, but should be monitored closely due to the risk of proceeding to Phase 4. Phase 4 being the child god. Sadly, the majority of type greens will eventually progress to Phase 4. During this phase, the reality bender becomes obsessed with the power it possesses and will attempt to utilize it for personal gain at the cost of others. This phase is marked by reduced empathy for other humans, inability to accept personal faults, and increased megalomania. Although warning signs are numerous, the key aspect of a Phase 4 is the use of their abilities to manipulate other humans. Teenage and young adult type greens will typically use their abilities for sexual purposes. Oof. And so, that clarifies what you mean there. Thank you, Desk, for knowing where that's sourced from so we could hunt it down. Now, I've also got here, for further reading, in case you are interested, from the, from Site 120's Archives Hub, we have What's Up with All the Reality Benders? A demographic overview of global ontokinetic prevalence. And, man, I do not like this spike of reality benders that we are currently going through. That is not good, I would say. Now, of course, this happened in the broken masquerade scenario, so that might have something to do with it. But there's a lot of reasons. Oh, yep, those purple eyes for the class 3 or above reality bender. They always get that Mary Sue purple eye thing going on. I'm not like other reality benders. So yes, please read this study for more intel on how we're dealing with the epidemic of reality benders. Is it like autism diagnoses where it's not like they're going up, but diagnosis is going up? Dr. Frogman, I do not know if that's the case or not. I haven't fully read this document in a while, if not that I've had it erased during amnestic treatment at some point. So, giving it a quick scan. There is at least an assertion that it's possibly something having to do with the veil being broken. You are correct. It seems like at least... perhaps then the change was something much different, something much more subtle. We like to talk about the direct ontokinetic influence of human belief on the world, but what if the change was much less complicated? What if, through our shared belief, we haven't directly resulted in the literal creation of reality-bending skills in people? What if, through our advances in tolerance, views on the paranormal, and finally seeing reality benders as humans instead of monsters, we have merely allowed those that have always been this way to truly see for the first time in their lives? What if, after all these years without a veil, we finally just let ourselves find our inner wonder? So this is more likening the onset of reality benders not quite to autism diagnoses becoming more sharper, but to homosexuality and left-handedness being put down upon to the point that we reported far less than there were because they were in hiding. But now that it's not illegal to be a reality bender, they're allowed to be out in public. So the numbers are not going up so much as we're allowing people to be free what they are. That's at least the hypothesis of this document. But further study will hopefully shed some light on these scenarios. Wow, transgender metaphor. That's right, Just Pit. That is what I am getting from this on a cursory glance. Remember, what we read here was just called What's Up with All the Reality Benders? A Demographic Overview of Global Ontokinetic Prevalence. And desk in the back channels with a content warning for SA. For those of you who hunt this down. This is a tale about Clef killing a reality bender child god who was using their powers to do terrible things, such as SA. Booterflies are in it. It also has Clef and Kondraki drinking beer at a bar on the moon. Well, that must be a merry engagement. I wonder if the Moon Wizard was in attendance. Sufficient to say, though, the tale desk is mentioning there is called Termination Order, if you would like to investigate it. And Site 42 staff, we are currently 10 minutes from the end of stream. 10 minutes from the end of stream, so get your last minute questions in. A lot of people in the chat chanting about the moon. Do you like the moon? Because it is good to you? You like the moon? Is that what I'm hearing? Oh no, do we need to steal the moon and replace it again? Right now, it doesn't seem like we need to replace the moon. But let's keep our fingers crossed just in case. I really like the Vanguard Initiative. Thoughts on it? Well, Intern Thief, I gotta be honest, I'm not too familiar with the Vanguard Initiative. That is not where a lot of my study lies, but I can certainly get a cursory look at it for you to give at least a surface level opinion. Vanguard's Lunar Settlement Initiative. Vanguard is making its debut, revealing itself to the world and slashing the veil in a global announcement. And they're sending Dr. Dan. Yeesh. Yes, I have not looked into the Vanguard timeline very much, because I knew, as good as I appreciate those who are writing this setting and series, I also know that it was pretty long and a lot to go through. Even scrolling down the hub for No Return is quite an adventure. If I go to the No Return hub and I just start scrolling, that is quite a layout. I say that with the utmost respect, but guys, that's so much. Love this website, but man, can y'all write sometimes. Sheesh. Concerning Vanguard, any substantive change to the Foundation appears like an attempt to make it all more progressive, but in reality, Vanguard is only interested in preserving the anomalous in light of the impasse, which means doing what they can to normalize the anomalous and reverse direction on a lot of Foundation policies. Vanguard is not trying to save the world. Much of the attitude towards it being a utopia or liberal wet dream are knee-jerk responses to changes in the setting, like Vanguard can't have D-Class, and Vanguard needs to make people appreciate and like them, so they trust Vanguard enough to allow for normalization. These are less progressive ideals and more practical solutions to try and rehabilitate the image of the Foundation, now that Vanguard is in the public eye, and because they want to work with groups of interest where possible. Groups of interest who have been openly hostile to the Foundation, like the Serpent's Hand and Nalkin Peoples. So, yes, it's Foundation, but pivoting in a broken masquerade scenario, essentially. I can respect that. I can respect that. Dr. Sherman, the O5s have a bouncy castle. Intern Silver, you're not supposed to discuss their manic Monday fun times. It's rude. They get really grumpy about that. What was, in your opinion, the worst attempt to destroy SCP-682? Well, intern Blood Moon, I'm going to say that the worst attempt to exterminate SCP-682 would happen to be the one that Dr. Clef was formed to clean up. This is when a researcher... Where is he? There we go. Dr. W. Guest researcher Dr. W's tests to exterminate SCP-682, which I will now read in full. Item: 1 ordinary human child. Termination test record. Child began to scream and cry when 682 was introduced into the cell. Subject was immediately and messily devoured by 682. Notes: okay, that didn't work so well. Maybe the fact that the kid was crying made 682 perceive it as a hostile intent. Guest researcher Dr. W signs. Next item: 1 ordinary human child, drugged to cancel extreme emotional reaction. Termination test record. Child stood and smiled, giggling at SCP-682 with no sign of fear. SCP-682 devoured the subject messily. Notes: maybe we can try that again. I'm sure somewhere out there there's a kid who will make friends with it like SCP-053 did. Signed, guest researcher WW, or Dr. W. Next test. Item: guest researcher Dr. W. Termination test record. Subject screamed in terror and pounded on the door to the test facility, begging to be let out. SCP-682 devoured it messily 3 minutes after being introduced. Notes: effing sadistic asshole. I've got no sympathy for that moron whatsoever. Introducing children to this effing monster? What the hell? Signed, Assistant Site Director Clef. So yes, by far, that is the worst attempt to terminate SCP-682. Bad test. Dr. W got what was coming to Dr. W. The hell I walked into. Intern Mata, that would be child murder. You walked into the child murder section of today's stream. But it is over now, so no worries. We are done with the child murder. Or, I guess, the discussion of child murder. We didn't murder any children. Well, the Foundation did, but only because guest researcher Dr. W was a dick. I'm just taking my giant spider for a walk around the facility. Just a heads up, it's the Labrador-sized spider with a pink collar. 369 Destroyer. I urge you strongly to keep your pet giant spider away from my office. The turrets with cameras to sense threats will see a Labrador-sized spider as a threat, and as I am not there to shut them down, I will not be blamed for what happens. And Intern Ali, you checked the rules, which we appreciate you doing. So, I will answer this. We have to answer it about once a stream. Now's that time. Trigger warning for Dr. Bright Talk. One question, why don't we talk about that one doctor? What do they do? I just want to know for future reference, please. Internally, on this channel is a video called The Last Death of Dr. Jack Bright, or Why the SCP Foundation Does Not Talk About Dr. Bright Anymore. And that video explains in a short summary that the author of Dr. Bright, who used the character as a self-insert for their author, an author insert character, the author was banned from the SCP database for massive grooming allegations, and the character in some stories written by the author had a penchant for being a little horny for underage people. And so suffice it to say, it turned into a situation where we could not separate the character from the artist. You gotta throw the whole trash out, man. You can check out my video on the channel for the quick summary, and there are links in the description of that video that lead to Dr. Sumerian's deeper dive of the evidence. So that is why we don't talk about Bruno here at Site 42. And don't worry, it was a bad situation for the community, but mainly for the core community, the people who actually visit the SCP Wiki. Most casual fans have heard nothing about it, which is why I'm okay letting you know what's up, because I'm spreading the word, apparently. Should I be scared of Dr. Clef, though? Intern Mata. Anyone with half a brain would be afraid of Dr. Alto Clef. Even his friends are afraid of him, with good reason. Zenith, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member, I believe. And thank you for making the effort to go through the Ko-Fi. Go ahead and grab yourself some delicious garlic bread from the commissary. Since that's what you claim to be eating, you must have already done so. Good work. Eating garlic bread evilly. Sup, Dr. Sherman. Sorry to tell you, but SCP-72... 9... -J... got out again. Great. Well, what a perfect time to remember that we are currently end of stream, so I can go put that thing back where it belongs. And so Site 42 staff here at the end of stream, as is tradition around these parts, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. But I'm not going to tell you my favorite SCPs are the ones that I wrote personally. That would be sheer narcissism. That would be cheating. But if you want to read the SCPs I personally wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site 42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can read the SCPs that I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And while you're on my author page, one tab over from those SCPs is a list of links. Links that people are often very curious to find, but then they just don't look hard enough. They don't get the hints to look for the links there. But not you guys. You guys are clever. You'll find them, I'm sure of it. And that is why, while on my author page, you can become a patron or a channel member to donate to us monthly. You can do Ko-Fis or YouTube Super Chats to donate to us once at a time. Either way, direct donations to Site 42 are the quickest way to keep the lights on for myself and the Site 42 staff, so we appreciate your generosity. And if you're part of the Broke Gang, do not fear, because as long as you are liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and chatting, not just on our stuff, but on the stuff of the SCP projects we support, the SCP Galleonics, the SCP Eyes of the Beholder, the SCP Fragmented Minds, the games, the animations, the series, the films, the podcasts, the merch, the authors and the artists that support the SCP Wiki, You are an intrepid and honored member of Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters, and we thank you for your service in helping us to get bigger SCP projects happen. Now, without, oh, Jesus. CD23, thank you for your 5 months as a Mobile Task Force captain here at Site-42. We appreciate your service, and thank you for letting me know that that thing is outside of my audiophonics lab. Oh boy. I cannot wait to kick this door down and squish it. Furthermore, I saw another Ko-Fi come in. Lanny the Demon Angel, thank you for donating again. Thank you for making the effort to go to the Ko-Fi. Stream over. Well, I'm off to Hungry Jack's. Proceeds to breach containment again. Someone sent security to pick up the anomaly from the fast food restaurant. And so now, without any further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one, it's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, content warning on the last one, it's a rough read. So, Site-42 staff, this has been another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anonymous broadcast from Site-42. Stay safe out in the water. Those dolphins are still at war with the Foundation. It's a dangerous place to be. And so be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Half an hour later, we packed up our things. We said we'd send letters and all of those little things. And they knew we were lying, but they smiled just the same. It seemed they'd already forgotten we'd came. Walk on the ocean, step on the stones. Flesh becomes water, wood becomes bone. Walk on the ocean and step on the stones. Flesh becomes water, wood becomes bone. The credit song is Walk on the Ocean by Toad the Wet Sprocket. Be safe, be well, Site-42 staff, and as always, secure, contain, protect.